This is step 2 in a series of videos. If you need context, you should go back and watch the first one. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to concentrate some more redundancy. We have this grid that we use for the input boxes where you put in like the minimum or maximum amounts of time for the shot timer. They're basically the same. There's 2 copies of it that are basically the same, just with different values and passing in different functions and what have you. I want to use a larger version of the same process that I just applied to turn these into components and kind of get them out of this file. The file currently is fairly long. We're going to shorten it up a little bit and make it better. Let's get started. So I'm going to extract a constant. We'll call it the minimum. And then I'll repeat that for the maximum element. Extract constant, maximum element. Now, the redundancy isn't just the element itself. It's also in the declaration of all of these React pieces of infrastructure, states and effects and memos and what have you. So I want to take those things, which are scattered all over the file right now, and move them so that they're closer to the element so that I can extract it all as one big function and ultimately turn it into a component. So I'll start with set min text and set max text. I cut. The compiler says, you can't do that. Go to the first error, and I will paste it. I'll get rid of these comments and paste it just above. And then I can see I could move the min parts to be closer to each other. And then I can just kind of keep sorting. This function belongs with these guys. This function belongs here. I have more state, so I'll move the min state up to kind of the min block of state and leave the max block so that it's with its buddies. I have these memos, one for min, one for max. So I'll move the min one and leave the max one where it belongs. And now I'm down to the elements. So I could take the max kind of string of infrastructure, I cut it. We'll see the compiler gets mad. But if I paste it, then I end up with 2 relatively insular blocks of code to work with. All of this stuff is how you create a duration input for the min value case. And all of this stuff is how you create a duration input for the max value case. So we're one step closer to being able to transform this so that it's just a call to one function. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to extract a function. We'll put it at the module scope. We want this to be its own component, so that's where it's going to need to live. And we'll call this duration input. Good enough. And then the coloring gets weird, so we cut it and paste it. Coloring right. So now we'll extract this next block into its own piece. We'll call it duration input 2. Okay. That's a step in the right direction. So now if we look at duration input and duration input 2, we'll see some similarities. So what we have to do is take these 2 functions and make it so that they are not just similar, but they are exactly the same. And that's going to involve renaming things. It's going to involve adding some parameters probably, and so on. So we'll start with the parameter list. We can see we have max seconds as one of the inputs, and we have a peer of min seconds. So let's just rename these to value. That makes some similarities. Value. Now we have apply limit to max. So let's just call this apply limit. If we scroll down, we'll see apply limit to min, and we can call it apply limit. And now we'll see we've created some duplication. Remember, the process is take redundancy, convert it to duplication, and then eliminate one of the duplicates. So we've created some level of duplication. In fact, we've created quite a bit of duplication to this point, I think. You can see it's the exact same text. So let's go on. How about we call this set value? And we call this set value. And then we have, let's call this the other value. And we'll call this the other value. Now, if we take everything but the name, we should see that the rest of the signature is identical. So we've normalized that. That's a good step. Now we'll do the same thing with kind of the infrastructure pieces, like the max text. We'll just call this text. We'll call this set text. And we'll repeat this. Let's call this commit. Then let's call this editing and set editing. Let's call this the result. And we'll do the same thing. We'll call this text. Call this the set text. This becomes commit. And this becomes editing. This becomes set editing. We'll call this result. We've created a lot of similarity, but not as much as you might guess. So if we copy this and we go to search and we paste, we see we've got some duplication in the parameters list and in the first two lines. But if we go a little further, we'll find there's some difference. And the difference is what value gets passed in to apply limit. See, we have default min here, and we have default max there. Now what this is telling us is we really need a parameter in the method in duration input, or duration input 2. So we can go through that process. There's no reason this needs to be defined here. It could be defined at the very top of the method if we like. And momentarily or temporarily, we'll call it just D. And then we'll add a new parameter called default value. We'll make it optional and have it be of type number, just like default max is. Now that we've got this parameter, we can take this value and we can go to where we call duration input 2. We can pass it in because it's optional. We don't have to have it, but we can have it. Now that we always have it, it no longer needs to be optional. Again, we don't have introduce parameter with Visual Studio Code with TypeScript, so we're doing introduce parameter by hand, basically. All right, so now we take default value, we paste it over the value because we just copied that and pasted it to be the parameter, and we can inline this variable. So now this piece is not in any way linked to what the actual default value that gets passed in is. Let's repeat that for the base one, for duration input 1. So we'll start by creating a new parameter. We'll call it default value, make it optional, make it a number. That does not change the behavior at all. We also need to change this to D. We'll copy the value that we currently use, go to the call site, paste it in, and now we've done kind of an introduce parameter. Take this paste it in. Let's see here. That's right. Can't go too fast. It's no longer optional. We don't need it to be optional. So we take it, copy it, paste it, and now we can inline the variable. Now, I believe, if I go and search, but still not quite. Oh, it's these comments. Get rid of the comments. Thank you very much, AI, for generating comments that are like almost worse than useless. So we search, we paste. There's still only one instance of this. So what is different? What did I do differently? Well, let's start searching. Are these two lines the same? Oh, there's only one. Use effect, set text, format, value. And we go down here. It's white space. It's okay. With bad tooling, you gotta just do what you gotta do. Copy, paste. Okay, we've normalized these two stretches of code. We already did the same thing, and now we're making it so that they're the same enough that we can be confident to replace one with another. So how far have we gotten, actually? Let's look. Nope, not that far. But I bet this editing piece is. Yep. So here we have parsed, and here's the same thing. You can inline this. Applying null as the limit there, and if we go down further, go up here, got the same thing. So once again, we have to figure out what is different. If I go this far, it's the same. If I go this far, it's the same. This line, same. This line, same. I wonder if we're going to find out it was white space. Oh, I didn't know these. Let's see. How about this? So these are the same. This is not. Oh, min preview. We need to rename this to just preview. I missed one. That's what happens when you're working with messy code. But it's better to be careful and actually know you're making things better than to kind of fly by the seat of your pants. All right. So we're pretty far. We've got all this preparatory code completely normalized. That's a step in the right direction. Big step in the right direction. Now, if we go and we try to find, try to do the same thing here, we'll find out that they're not duplicated yet. And the reason they're not duplicated is there's some hard-coded values that really need to be parameters. So we've got this heading and we've got the label. Those both need to be parameters, as well as down here. Well, this, we actually already have a parameter for the default value. So we'll copy the default value, paste it. That's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And copy, paste. But we still have to deal with the heading and the label. So let's do that. I'll try to type this fast so you won't see that I break it momentarily. Okay. For a moment, I broke compilation by putting the braces around it, and then I put the quotes around it, and we're back into transformative land. So let's extract a constant for this, and we'll call it, I'm just going to call it H for now, because I really want a parameter for this, and I'm going to move this to the top to make life easier for me, and then I'm going to repeat our little by hand introduced parameter. So we're going to say heading is optional, and it's a string. That's safe. That does not change things. And we're going to copy this string. We're going to go to the one and only place that this is called, and we're going to pass it in. Now that we've passed it in, heading is no longer optional, which means I can take this variable's value, initializer, I guess, and replace it with the parameter and inline it. All right. One down, one to go. Here again, we will extract constant. And this is the label. For my own ease, I will move that up to the top. Actually, I'm going to call that L, because we've got to go through the same process. We will say label, it's optional, and a string. Then we will take the label value. We will go to where this is called, and we will pass it in. And now that we passed it in, we no longer need it to be optional, and we can replace the value that we'd copied and pasted with the variable, and then inline this guy. So now we've parameterized this piece. Let's repeat here. Here is the heading. We'll make a constant out of that. Call it heading. Move it to the top. After we move it to the top, we're going to take this value and put it in the copy paste buffer. Make a heading optional string parameter. Go to where this is called. Paste the value, go back. Which no longer needs to be optional. Paste. Inline. Okay, one down, one to go. This, constantize it, call it L. Move it up here. Put this in the buffer. Make the new parameter. Go to where it's called. Okay. I mean, you know, I'm kind of sorry this is a big thing, but it just is a big thing, right? You have to deal with problems like this, and you have to deal with it. Okay. Now, I may have normalized these. There may be something else I'm missing. Let's roll the dice. As close to rolling the dice as I get anyway. Completely normalized. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Feels so good. So now, these functions are the same function. We know that character for character, the only difference is the name. They're functions. You can see that they're functions. We've verified that literally everything through the end is identical between duration input and duration input 2. So this is the fun part. We go to where duration input 2 is called. We replace it with duration input because there's literally no downside. We know they do the same thing. We transformed that code to make sure. Then we get rid of this. Now we've already made a small improvement. We were at 320 something lines before. We're under 300 lines now. The next step is going to be to take this and make it into a component and like move stuff out into a file structure that looks better. I'll probably record that. I don't know if I'll post it. I probably will. Just I don't know how many people are going to watch that, but whatever. But we made things better. We made things objectively, observably better at this point. We only have one function for duration input, and that's where we wanted to be. Thank you.